Great. Oh, the premiere episode for Multi. I love it. Doing great.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, how I got involved. Yeah, how I got involved. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I had just started. I entered the 18 card game before that. Totally family friend called Do Not Open. After really started getting me thinking more about like making the stuff that I do for fun just at home, exactly what it's for. So I kind of tested the waters with that and learned. I read about the Game Pieces Only challenge. My first will have this initially reading is like, I don't have anything for that. That is not something that I and part of the reason is that I like doing some graphics and the whole project stuff. And so anyway, I even though I didn't have an idea for it, it just kind of stuck with me. And again, I think like it. And then just home from the grocery store, I had that. I mean, the thing for me is, I'm see, what I'm doing, and it's such an game contest, right? So I got this idea that if it was the whole game scatter out a million different ways. A lot of other games end up being primarily dexterity games where you're flicking stuff around, but Dungeon Drop is primarily a dexterity game. once all these colored cubes end up on the tabletop, and you just a little player aid, but eventually you learn it yourself. You know what each color means. What each color means. The game is the pillar, what you use for any 3 pillar cubes that do not contain another pillar cube inside that triangle. And any triangle of 3 pillar cubes can be a room. And to explore that room, you simply declare it, gather up all the other colored treasure and monsters, and its treasure and monsters. So the idea was a player once see all those colors that you look down at the tabletop. The idea had coming home from the grocery store. It's not a random abstraction. It's a map of a dungeon, and you can see rooms and monsters and everything. And now I was into it, so I kept designing.
Someone was saying that they couldn't hear me, so I'm just double checking to see if anyone can hear me. But what I'm showing right now was, as you were talking, I was kind of scrolling through the Kickstarter to show, as you drop the cubes and which cubes are the pillars, and how you said you make the rooms and then you collect the loot and there's monsters, and so I was just showing that while you were talking. Let's see. I just want to make sure they were saying that they could hear you. If you missed me talking earlier, this is Crowd Chat. We're talking with the designer Scott Smith and the publisher Jason Maselli for Dungeon Drop. It is currently on Kickstarter and it is doing swimmingly. And so we just learned about the idea of coming home from the grocery store and turning an abstract game into a dungeon crawl game. And so there were a ton of contestants. Did you think it was going to go as far as it did?
No. Well, it's a split thing. I would say total divide. I can flip back in my head either way when I have a game idea, right? Like sometimes you think, this is the coolest idea ever. The whole reason why you make it, right? That you think, that switch can flip at any point in time to this idea is crazy. I mean, my idea was kind of outside of the box. Honest, I and dungeon, dropping the drop and potential in the comment and winning it. I was by myself when I found out I won. I'm glad.
Aw, that's great. So, Scott, did you enter the contest? Were you a designer that put a submission in? Sorry first I want to say everybody can hear me now. And for some reason, Jason's screen keeps changing sizes, so I apologize. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, Jason, why don't you tell us how you found Dungeon Drop and decided to sign it?
Sure. Hopefully my screen is stable enough that I can talk to you.
Right now. It's when it's all 4 of us. It's doing a thing. I don't know.
Okay. Trials of doing the multi-person for the first time.
Since everybody missed me talking earlier, this is my first time doing 2 people at once. So if I don't know why it's making only one of us change sizes, but anywho.
All right.
All right. Go ahead.
A lot submitted to a bunch of contests, and I love what they bring to the table. I love the design challenges that they create, and just kind of you hear JT talk about it all the time, the constraints that the contests impose. Ultimately, that constraint actually fosters new creativity to kind of work around that constraint and come up with something. So this particular contest really intrigued me from day one, because you're removing the very thing that kind of makes the Game Crafter special. Custom printed components that are sent out to you. So I was very intrigued from the beginning. And I remember seeing a lot of the contestants, I remember them at this point, but a lot of components all over the table in all different positions and shapes and sizes. But this one stuck out to me dropping, and you've this idea of dropping, and you've infinite possibility, and no, so clearly Scott, I believe, and signed a week later because there was just magic in this mechanic, and it's not just that the game is doing something different because that constraint merged is actually is going to start to become this. I don't know what name the drop mechanic. Maybe see this emerging as the beginning of essentially it's a genre in ways. That couldn't exist. This particular contest, this very contest that forced Scott to come up with something for components only, literally created what could essentially become an entire genre. And I just think that that's stupidly exciting.
It's pretty neat. I have to say, the only kinds of games I have ever heard that had some kind of drop mechanic were like a children's game where it's like you're picking the blocks up and then stacking them. It's not like actually you're using that as a kind of mechanic itself. So this is definitely something new. And like I was just showing the Kickstarter, the components, there's, like you said, there's very little to it. What is it? There's a bunch of cubes and a couple of cards.
There's 82 cubes, six dice, which are really just cubes with specific things on their different faces. There are even though Scott's original version was components only abilities, and we basically spiced the game, but in no way did any of that detract from that central mechanic that makes this special. So we did add some cards and a couple other components, a couple other components, a couple tokens.
Yeah, I'm showing the original. It's not for sale, but the submission that was to the Game Crafter. And it's just all cubes. So yeah, there's definitely something added to it. And look at these little stars and whatnot. These are super cute. So yeah, it's definitely been spiced up. I love looking at this deluxe version too. These faces are hilarious.
Yeah. So what we wanted to do, version, which is plain characters. Real work. That was our that the two would somewhat marry together. That pixel art didn't quite feel right here where it does with the other game. We said it just feels missing, and that missing element is frankly it's the phrase mass market. This game is meant to be catering to a super wide audience, families, all ages, like anyone can enjoy this game, and the pixel art seemed a little too niche.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That. Went with this really kind of found, and she was like, I want in a chibi style, and then she just kind of posted it on the internet as fan art, and then we reached out to her and said, hey, you remember that fan art you did? Like, because it was like 6 months prior. To consider that for an entire game. Are you interested? That's where that came from.
That's a cool way to get a job.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And she's awesome. She's so and over tech. So
has it been kind of surprising just to see how many backers the campaign has? Like, what was the point where you're like, what is happening?
Really is.
All these, every stage of this project has been everyone's I mean, we all know life is full of this project. For some reason, the right people came together, and it's surprising me. And yeah, I mean, reach out to me was a huge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember after. I'm not sure this means anything. You know, which is nice and everything. And this is maybe a little piece of advice to people too. I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna keep hanging out, you know, stuff. You know, just be a part of the community. I think Jason's talked a bit about this too, but talked a bit about this. You are better, and things come up. Jason might have reached out to me anyway. I have no idea, but Jason was way by it. I was just saying to Jason, like enough time is left in the campaign where I'm gonna have to get used to talking about your project, which is just great. Every time I say it, I'm gonna jinx it. I'm gonna jinx it somehow.
It's totally gonna stay and keep going. So I kind of wanted to talk about the contest more, because that was a huge thing that got you into everything. So I'm sorry, I'm switching the page to go to the Kickstarter so we can look at the internet. All right, so here's the original. And then we were looking at, this is the sell page. Do you have any suggestions? Because I wanted to talk about, there's also this Phase Shift Dimensions Challenge, which Jason is the host, I believe, of. And I wanted to talk about where we... Sorry, I'm switching back so people can see us. I wanted to talk about the changes that you felt were necessary, and then how you decided to... This is, I guess, more of a question for Jason. The changes you felt were necessary to make it viable for the market, and then why you decided to host your own contest of the Game Crafter.
Things that ability is interesting, right? So the original game, it was all cubes, and the dice actually represented a character in this universe. And so see what character you are. And if you got a 2, let's say, basically what that meant was you had maybe a rogue, really health, but he would go very fast. He would go in second turn order to, you know, number if someone rolled a 1. If a giant type character that has a lot of health, but they would go last. And that was the kind of self-balancing mechanism. So I don't know if it was Scott or me, but you know, certainly it emerged very rapidly that we should probably consider making characters instead of the dice, right? Because we could have different abilities, give them artwork, and just bring it to life a little bit more. Of everything that's changed, that was probably the most obvious and important one. Get viable, as you say, for a mass. We went through a lot of different that as far as which room is best on the table. Which room should my character go into? It just matters of health to sustain the damage from the goblins. So fast forward, and now what we have are hidden quests, and this set, you know, this specific thing that for me, maybe gold, because gold is normally only roll or triple, because of my secret quest, and then gems are only worth a little bit fun, and for you, blue gems are worth negative points, but pink gems might be worth a lot. So all those different types of really create the recipe. That was like the final thing that we needed to find to just create a sublime recipe that we knew would be.
And that wasn't allowed. I know there was something about in the original contest you couldn't have custom anything. I think it was you had to only use. Yeah, so
I think
I asked about this. I couldn't use the box. Box is a great little place to draw cubes out of now, but that was not allowed. I put a bag. They tossed. They said the words. They wanted to be able to open it up out of the box and throw it all away, and only have the pieces out about it. And I put in the bag just in case. But yeah,
that's interesting. So no box. That's kind of cool. So yeah, that's extra restrictive.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at any of the other games that they had in there, but I love that contests give you that restriction. Oh yeah, so I wanted to ask Jason about the contest that I believe it's in which stage is that one in right now? That one's done. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. There was another one I was thinking about. Okay. So tell me
the
about
phase
this
shift
contest that you had.
Yeah, that was so even before we met Scott, before Dungeon Drop, even came to our we wanted to do one of the things that we said we want to do first, just to get ourselves in the market, get everyone used to our name. We've been in the market 12 as Geek Fever Games, and we still run Geek Fever. That's a design firm. But this is the first time that we're doing the publishing side, and that's as a way to kind of get phase shift into the public. We wanted to from the beginning we wanted to.
Oh, I was going to say that Dungeon Drop's your first your first publish, correct? Cool.
Pretty cool design contest,
wow,
pretty quick.
First launch, right?
Yep. And everything about the way that we did the math, the way that we figured out how we would go to market with it was all design money possible, but designed to put us on the map. In fact, probably losing money. We're not losing much more of the profit than you would normally get from a Kickstarter. Like, he purposely wanted to invest that, make the price point as low as possible. So that and other games that both we would want to work with in the future. And I think clearly we've succeeded at that particular contest was like I said, it was that first thing that we wanted to do, which we launched even I think it ran before the Components Challenge, and probably ran through. It was a longer duration one. 26, I think submissions were 21. And of those, we actually chose a top three, and we gave cash prizes for the top three because we really wanted to have as many people investing a lot of good thought into that particular contest, given the very abnormal, which is what we wanted to stand for, very out of the ordinary type of games. Love those three.
I'm looking at I have it up. So everyone can see the Phase Shift Dimensions Challenge. And so there were some rough questions and ideas. Why are so many games flat?
Yep.
Could a single game take place in different rooms simultaneously? Ooh.
So one of our top three bombers away, and they take their one by one. Everyone takes turn is selecting into someone else in the room, another room into them privately, where there's a deck of cards, and they each know what the active their turn, but no one else in the main room has any knows that Scott chose Cassie to go into the other room. Then when they come back, some bits of information about what happened in the room. Did Scott manipulate the deck and see game essentially? But just really cool mechanic, dynamically, which person to take with, and they what we wanted out of that contest was that really the greatest thief is the other one. Strong game, and we're actually still talking with, don't know what'll come from it down the road, but really cool. It's not 2 rooms. One is you leave it set up in whatever room for an ongoing length of time. Each person takes their turn when the other person is not in the room. So I might go up and see, it's my turn. There's a bunch of stuff you can do when it's not, and you're going on heists, and you're raising money, and you're trying to figure out the systems in the other person's mansion, but all hidden while the other person's not even back in the room. Later, you're gone. Later, they get to see maybe I tripped one of their sensors. So they get to see which sensor I tripped in their mansion, but they don't really know how far I got. They don't really know how much I learned and how much I learned. Absolutely. Types of submissions that came through.
That's so cool. If you had to put a value on the Game Crafters contest, what would you? It sounds like it's been like a good guide.
Yeah, 10. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. In general, there's a general notion that really do foster this immense creativity. Come out with something that would never. I mean, if this design contest for components. Chances are, Scott, I would have emerged, and I think that's incredible.
Sorry. Go ahead, Scott. Yeah, I was going to ask the same question.
I was professionally at my school, and I mean, one of the absolute rules of thumb goes against the way we tend to think. We talk about trying to break outside of the box, but the truth is, when you want a very tight is often the eventually breakout. But you got it. If they don't start in the tight box, they don't.
Oh no, what just happened? Can everybody see? I think we lost Jason.
Start.
There it is. Okay, maybe it's my screen. There you are.
You guys.
Anyway.
Okay. I've been here. I heard everything.
I just had a quick silly question. Scott, was this the first contest you've entered?
No, I started a little game called the 18 card contest, which, as someone new to this kind of thing, I hope types of like uber time. That was huge for me. Just I'll try my best. It's a very light game, but I was just figuring out how it worked and uploading my images and all that stuff. So the 18 card contest was phenomenal for that, and there were a ton of interest. There was some really interesting stuff. One very tiny box with amazing stuff. So that was me learning it, but this is my second one, and obviously I was going on a lot deeper that time.
Cool. Before I switch away from focusing on Dungeon Drop, and I'm going to share a little bit about some of the contests that the Game Crafter has currently. Is there anything about the campaign that we haven't touched upon that you want to share with those that are watching?
Share something. Will actually be the first time we're announcing it publicly. It'll be posted to the campaign not too long. We're going to do something else a little different, and that is we have partnered with a company called Tabletop Tycoon. Essentially, for every $1,000 that we raise on the Kickstarter, we'll have 10 copies of Dungeon Drop donated to Toys for Tots. So this is a to. And another way to the game to a wider audience, but really just really a way to embrace the game. We're gonna watch that. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited about that. Look
I
for
haven't
that.
heard of anyone. Well, a few people do different projects, but I haven't heard of anyone like really teaming up to do something like that. So that's actually really exciting. Scott, did you have anything else you wanted to say before I move away from Dungeon Drop?
Well, I think the coolest thing about Kickstarter is just seeing this idea kind of just flash people. The game continues to evolve a little as all these people are interacting with it. I mean, in some contest community and interacting that way, and so many cool ideas come out when kind of this different system, but also just how it's developed as like a family game has been really interesting to see, because I often or something I'm playing all with people my doing that the whole time, but just seeing some of the first reviews come out, and the reviewer is sitting there next to their kid, and they're both talking about love.
Yeah, everything's just been everything seems to be growing,
And
it's
they're
been really exciting. Like you said, it's just been exciting to watch. Everybody's kind of getting an opportunity to show what they know and what they can do, and it's been really exciting. Okay, so I'm gonna, before I leave from Dungeon Drop and just talk about some of the cool things that are going on the Game Crafter right now, I want to show the Kickstarter, in case anyone is curious where nope, that's the old one. There's Dungeon Drop right now. While we were talking, it gained an additional 2 backers, which is pretty awesome.
Nice.
Let's see. I want to make sure everyone can still hear me. So we're going to take a look at, if you go to thegamecrafter.com and you go here to community, right here under contest is where you can find all of the contests to enter, including where you can see information about the Game Pieces Only challenge that happened that caused Dungeon Drop to be found. And right now we have one that is open for voting called the Simple Elegance Contest, and another one that is still open for submissions called Social Deduction Challenge. If you want to take a look at either of these and do a submission, take a look at the Simple Elegance Contest, and you can vote on the ones that are your favorites. That would be amazing, because we've got, ready for this, is drum roll. It's quite a large amount of submissions ready to go. Oh no, I scrolled too past. It's going up. I'm waiting for it to finish counting. 95.
Wow.
I just saw that one.
Yep. So there are 95 entries that would love your vote. And then, like I said, if you're looking for something to give yourself a little bit of constraint, there's the Social Deduction Challenge contest going on at the Game Crafter as well. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and thank you, both of you, for coming on. I can't believe this is, it's just been so exciting to follow along and watch. I feel like I was just excited to see 2 more backers while we're talking. And that was in, 30 minutes? That's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's been mind blowing. It's been
this is your first campaign.
It's
what a
absolutely
way to go.
awesome.
Come on,
Yeah.
That's really cool. So for next week, I believe there's going to be a crowd sale launching soon, if I have my timing correct. So I'm hoping to have the member or the person who is hosting the crowd sale on the show. If anyone has any questions about Dungeon Drop, feel free to leave them here, and I'm sure that these gentlemen would be happy to answer them in the comment section of their Kickstarter. So if you have anything there you're unsure about. And I think that's all I have. I didn't see anybody share any crazy questions, and we did have one question that was about where you came up with the idea of Dungeon Drop, but we covered that. So, so that's it for this episode of Crowd Chat. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.